On this postseason edition of This Week in the NPSL, the word of the week is upset, where 3 of the top 5 teams in the league's power rankings all get knocked out of the playoffs. In Miami, the top team in those rankings runs into the Cinderellas of the postseason. We will tell you why midnight has not struck yet for Nashville FC. Elsewhere, the playoffs get underway in the Midwest, where our former Miter Player of the Week faces not only the big crowd in Detroit, but also City's stellar keeper. And in the Northeast, a week after beating their own conference's regular season winner, Clarkstown SC looked to take down the champs of the Atlantic White. Highlights, scores, and we announce the NPSL Golden Boot winner next on This Week in the NPSL. Welcome to the playoffs, and just as quickly, goodbye to the postseason for several of our league's best teams. I'm Paul Bora, and thank you for joining us for This Week in the NPSL. And for the second straight week, we have to start in the South, where upsets are the story. A week after going through Chattanooga FC, Knoxville Force, and the Southeast regular season champ New Orleans on their home pitch, Nashville FC faced their next test. A trip to face the team that has been atop the power rankings all season, Miami Fusion FC. So would the magic run out in the Magic City? Early on, the story was Fusion keeper Peterson Osanat, coming out to aggressively punch the ball away and then getting back to his goal and denying Liam Collins by putting it over the bar. Miami looking for the first goal of the match, but David Ochoa's shot just slices wide of the frame. Nashville jumps on top in the 22nd minute as it is disaster for the Miami keeper as he mishandles it, and Gregory Warden is there to take advantage. 1-0 Nashville, and that's the way it would end as they move on to the regional finals, where they would face the winner of the 2-seed FC Wichita and Lone Star champion Midland Odessa FC. And Midland Odessa strikes in stoppage time on Zachary Penner's score to knock off FC Wichita at Stryker Soccer Complex. They move on with a 1-0 win. So the South Region Finals are set, and raise your hand if you had Midland Odessa versus Nashville in the South Finals. And unless you're a member of either of those squads, if you have your hand raised, you're lying. Well, one of those two teams will be the South champion, and they will do battle at Grand Communications Stadium in Midland on Saturday night. Two teams that were similar during the regular season, not lighting up the scoreboard with just 24 goals apiece, but they are solid defensively. In fact, Nashville has only given up 2 goals in their 4 playoff games. But you have to wonder if all of those miles logged will affect them with trips to Chattanooga, New Orleans, Miami, and now West Texas in the span of 19 days. Well, up next, we will get back on the road and head to Motown for the start of the Midwest playoffs as 2 9-win regular season teams look for a spot in the conference semis. Dakota Fusion at Detroit City next.
Keep up to date on NPSL with scores, schedules, stats, and exclusive content on NPSL.com. Visit NPSL.com to browse our dedicated ticket platform, read up on NPSL Spotlight, and view the latest episode of This Week in the NPSL.
Welcome back, and welcome to the postseason Midwest region. The first round of their playoffs got underway last weekend with the 3-seed Erie Commodores hosting Dayton Dynamo and the 4-seed Detroit City FC hosting Dakota Fusion FC. And while things started well for the Fusion, they ended up getting mowed down in Motown. Early in the match, Sean Lawson shoots it off the crossbar and we remain scoreless. Later, Detroit's Fernando Pena makes a great save on Jade Johnson at point-blank range. Then Pena with a diving stop. Zach Shiwi clears away the deflection, and we're still 0-0. Dakota Fusion gets on the board first in the 20th minute. Zahir Alabasi from the top of the 18, and it's 1-0 Dakota. After a Sean Lawson goal tied it in the 35th minute, Cyrus Sadie fouled inside the box. Seb Harris scores on the resulting penalty kick, and it's 2-1 Detroit City. 12 minutes later, another City goal, this time Roddy Green getting the pass from Sean Lawson. He nets it back post, and it's 3-1. Now 4-1, and in the 81st minute, Seb Harris scoring on a set piece from Mondi's free kick. 5-1 Detroit as they move on to the Midwest semis. And in the second quarterfinal, Dayton wins in dramatic fashion as they get the only goal of the game in stoppage time by Peyton Mowry to win 1-0. So the top 2 seeds in the Midwest get their chance to participate in the postseason at the regional semifinals at Keyworth Stadium just outside of Detroit on Friday. The top overall seed and top-ranked team remaining in the postseason, AFC Ann Arbor, will take on the Dayton Dynamo, while the champions of the North, Duluth FC, will do battle against Detroit City FC. The winners will square off one night later with the Midwest Championship on the line. When we return, it's time to go to the Northeast, where the champs of the Keystone squaring off with the champs of the Atlantic White. And if you like goals, this next segment is for you. Northeast semifinal action is ahead on This Week in the NPSL.
MITRE is the official ball supplier of the National Premier Soccer League. Visit www.mitre-usa.com for more information. That's www.mitre-usa.com.
As the first full weekend of the playoffs kicked off last weekend, one of the most even matchups appeared to be the highest scoring team in the Northeast squaring off against the stingiest squad in the Atlantic White. So which won out when the two teams met Saturday night just west of Newark? It's the Stockade that gets on the board first in the 11th minute. Pedro Espindola from the corner of the box rips it home, and it's 1-0. In the 40th minute, Espindola steps to the spot and knocks it in, and it's 2-0, and it appears that's how they would head to break. But a disastrous turning point in stoppage time, as Clarkstown is applying the pressure, and off of the own goal, they cut the deficit to 1. 55th minute, a long ball to Christopher Catono. He calmly gains control, slots it past the keeper, and we're level at 2. 5 minutes later, Daryl Kavanaugh from 25 yards out with a terrific strike, and the Eagles have flown into the lead. 79th minute, some insurance for Clarkstown. Off of the beautiful give and go, Maximiliano Garcia puts it into the open net to make it 4-2. Then in the 89th minute, Garcia puts the nail in the coffin off of the loose ball in the box, puts it into the corner, and it's 5-2. And one more in stoppage time for good measure, Julian Valerio finding pay dirt as Clarkstown SC advances with a 6-3 victory. And for Kingston and their great fans, a magical season comes to an end. In the other semifinal, Elm City Express keeps running over opponents. They get a 17th minute goal from Shaquille Sanchez, and then 3 goals in the second half, 2 by Tavoy Morgan, as they blank Legacy 76 4-0. So the Northeast Finals are set, and again, it will be a battle of offense versus defense. Elm City, who has only given up 5 goals all season against an Eagles squad that has now scored 50 goals, including 10 in their 3 postseason games. It will be fascinating to see who comes out of the Northeast when those two meet at Reese Stadium on the campus of Yale University on Saturday night. Well, speaking of goal scoring, nobody has scored more this season than Orange County FC. Nobody had given up less than FC Arizona. The story from the West semifinals is next. Plus, we announce our NPSL Golden Boot winner, or should we say winners. That's when we come back.
SoccerStub is the official ticket provider of the NPSL and powers the league ticket platform. Support live local soccer by visiting tickets.npsl.com to find tickets to NPSL matches near you directly from NPSL teams.
Back on This Week in the NPSL, I'm your host Paul Boren, and time to head to the West, where FC Arizona gave up 3 goals the whole regular season. But what you did in the regular season doesn't always translate to the postseason, as they found out against the league's top-scoring team, Orange County FC, who dented the net 65 times in the regular season, but could they score enough to beat the West's top-ranked team on their home turf in Mesa? And the answer is yes, as they get a clean sheet against Arizona and net 2 second-half goals, a 52nd minute strike from Michael Bryant, and a 70th minute goal from Alessandro Canali to knock off the top seeds 2-0. They will now travel to CD Aguiluchos, where Simon Ronsley got the first of his 2 goals in the 2nd minute of the match, and they got 3 in the second half to beat Kitsap Soccer Club and move on to the West Finals. So the West Finals are set for Saturday night in San Leandro, when Northern and Southern California clash for a spot in the national semifinals. And since we've been talking about goals, CD Aguiluchos has ramped up their goal scoring in the postseason with 4 goals in the quarters against Sonoma County Sol and 4 more last weekend against Kitsap, something they did only once in the regular season in 12 regular season games. Meanwhile, Orange County FC comes in winners of 7 of their last 8. Their loss was against Albion SC, and that was a month ago, which leads us to the announcement of our 2017 NPSL Golden Boot winner. And 2 men will share the honor from those 2 aforementioned squads. Alessandro Canale of Orange County FC and Armani Walker of Albion SC both ended the regular season with 18 goals, just edging Dakota Fusion forward Jade Johnson, who ended the season with 17. Both are Southern California natives, Canale from Santa Monica, Walker from Linda Vista near San Diego. So congratulations to both men on the honor, as this year's Golden Boot resides in the Golden State. So we are down to 10 teams, and by the end of the weekend, our final four will be set. So let us take one last look at the brackets. And the action starts Friday night just outside the Motor City as the number 1 seed AFC Ann Arbor takes on Dayton Dynamo, while North champion Duluth FC plays Detroit City FC. The winners will play Saturday night. In the Northeast, Elm City Express will host Clarkstown SC Eagles after both had convincing wins in their semifinal showdowns. In the South, it is a battle of two teams not many would have expected would be playing for the regional crown, as the number 3 seed Midland Odessa FC hosts number 4 seed Nashville FC in West Texas on Saturday night. And in the West, it is the NPSL version of the Cali Classico, as Orange County FC travels north to the Bay Area to face CD Aguiluchos. And we will have all the results next week, and we will look ahead to the national semifinals right here on This Week in the NPSL. But for now, Paul Boran thanking you for joining us.